We continue our discussion of Indian boarding schools with a look at a new young adult novel based on the history of the federal residential school system. The book is titled Buffalo Dreamer, and it involves horrific events that took place at Indian boarding schools where it's reported that nearly 1,000 children died. The author of Buffalo Dreamer is Violet Duncan, and she joins us now. Thank you so much for joining us. And first of all, congratulations on that book. When you look at that book, what do you think?
It is definitely a labor of love. There's blood, sweat, and tears in that book. It started as a tribute to my father, who attended the Indian residential school. It eventually just overfilled with my love to my aunties and uncles, grandparents who also attended the Indian residential school system. And it was a tribute to my children, saying, this is what happened, and this is how we can talk about it in a good way.
So your family's journey was basically the inspiration for this story.
It's so much the inspiration that the characters are actually named after them. There's an uncle, Lawrence.
Yes.
My brother's name is Jody Lawrence John. There's an auntie, Anua. My sister's name is Monique Anua. My little sister is Crystal, and there's an Auntie Crystal, so everyone's in there.
But I notice and read, there are a lot of aunties in this book, and you explain at one point that elder women are, whether it's your real aunt or not, they're called auntie, aren't they?
Yeah, every household I go into, you have a big kitchen, and either they're cleaning or cooking or giving some history lesson, and it's filled with aunties. And that I really wanted to make sure that resonated within the book, that it's not just talking about the trauma of residential school, it's talking about our resiliency. We're still here today, and this is what healthy families look like today.
Indeed, and the book starts with from San Carlos Tribe driving up north, and you wind up with a big family. It's just a big family situation, but then things get a little more interesting. Without giving too much away, who is Buffalo Dreamer?
So Buffalo Dreamer, let me just say that a lot of the children who attended the Indian residential school did run away. And my father was one of the runaways, but he was found and brought back to the school. And this is a story of what if one of the kids who ran away made it home? What would happen? And Buffalo Dreamer is running away, and we get to kind of hear her tale of surviving this blizzard and trying to make it home, because a lot of times these residential schools were days and days travel on wagon away from home. So to head back to their community, it was nearly impossible. But some of these kids made it, and we hope that Buffalo Dreamer, we get to follow her journey home.
And talking about the boarding schools and just the horrific events that occurred at these places, how do you get that image, that thought, that concept into a young adult novel without it being too much for younger minds, but still getting the point across?
Absolutely. My children, 15, 13, 12 now, and 8 years old, I have to talk to them about this conversation and what does that look like. And that's why I wrote the book, because as we start to have these conversations at these different age levels and we talk about what happened there, how do we make it in a kid-friendly version without kind of sugarcoating it? Because the kids that it happened to, they didn't get the sugar-coated experience, and so they need to know the truth. And this book doesn't sugarcoat it. It tells the truth in a way that a kid will understand and really empathize with. Why
did you decide on a young adult novel?
I actually started writing it after we found out about the 250 unmarked graves in BC. At their Indian residential school. And my children would see me scrolling through my phone, and they were saying, "What are you looking at? What are you reading?" And I'm like, "Oh no, this is the conversation. This is what happened." And as I was talking to them, they said, "This is so sad. It happened hundreds of years ago." And I'm like, "No, the last residential school in Canada closed in 1996. This is the time when I was still alive. This is your grandfather went." And they said, "My grandfather went, our Musha went." And so as I started to share with them, I started to write. And as they would learn, so came this story.
Well, and as far as the story is concerned, did any of these characters, they're so close to you, so I hesitate to even ask the question, but did any of them surprise you? Did you plan on them doing this? And when you're writing the story, they're not doing that. They're doing something else.
Actually, all of them took a whole life on its own. I'm one of those writers that is just writing and writing, and I have no idea. I'm actually writing another story, and the kid in this story is stuck in the wilderness, and there's no food, and he's all alone. It's been 3 days, and I feel so sad that I've abandoned him, so I have to go back to this story and get him out of the wilderness. So as I'm writing this story, I don't know how it's going to end. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if Buffalo Dreamer will make it home. All I know is that I was writing it and I'm crying and I'm feeling the emotions with these characters because I owe it to them. I owe it to my auntie and my uncle and my father. They get to hear how proud I am of them through these words in the book.
And we should mention that the descriptions of the land, the wind, American Indian culture, I mean, it's all there. It's beautifully written. It's really a wonderful book.
Thank you.
Last question, though. We're kind of, again, running out of time
Yeah.
here. What do you want folks to take from this? Not only young adults, but the parents of young adults.
I would love caregivers, educators, children to use this as a stepping stone to start the conversation that this really did happen. And there's lots to learn from it. There are movies that are out, there are series, there's historical fiction, there is nonfiction, there's board books. There's lots of ways we can introduce this topic and let this be that first conversation starter of how we can begin to learn about our history.
Well, congratulations again on the book. It's a great product. It's beautiful to look at and wonderful to read, and it's great to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.